It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. It's Thursday, August 15th. I love the 15th of the month. There's something about the 15th that feels very, well, middle of the road. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I see all of you in the comments. We have had a lot of stuff pop up in today's gossip train. So we're going to get right into it. Let's just all let's just start from the very beginning. Should we start and sing? A very good place to start. When you sing, you begin with do, re, mi. Okay, I will stop being Julie Andrews, but I want you guys to all get comfy in the comments. Get comfy here. Feel like this is your home. You've come back to church. Remember, we decided yesterday this is now a church. Welcome, temple, church, mosque, wherever you guys want to go. This is what we've got for you. Get cozy, all on today's Daily Dose of Donna.
Can you imagine? Not feel the magic. Can you imagine? Not feel the
Today's an exciting day because I have Lance coming back into town. I finally posted about the loss of his mother on social media today, just because I was waiting for him to just like finish it off and deal with everything. He was so overwhelmed over the last week and a half in Wisconsin, dealing with the loss and everything that he had to deal with. It's a very long story. I go into more detail on Patreon, but he had he finally celebrated her life in a formal way yesterday, or I shouldn't say formal, but spread ashes with her closest people. And he's on his way back home to us. I held the fort down here for the kids and the animals and everything else that we had going on here. There was a lot of stuff that prevented us from being able to be there. That being said, I am very looking forward to having our family back together. We have not been all together since before the kids went to camp. So it's been over 4 weeks. So I'm looking forward to it. And I showed my kids Deadpool last night in my best parenting move ever. You know what's bad is when you send I told the kids, I was like, "Listen, I will let you watch Deadpool because I trust you and I trust your abilities as children. However, I will be fast forwarding some scenes and I will be telling you to like close your eyes, okay? Specifically those scenes that had something to do with, lovemaking. We'll just put it in that way. But the point is that all of their friends are seeing Deadpool. And so I actually was like, I know my kids. I can trust this. So there was in Deadpool 1, there is like a scene pretty early in the movie that was very passionately, it was a passionate moment. Okay. And I was like, guys, close your eyes. And they both are like, we've seen sex before. And I thought to myself, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong in my life? I'll tell you, and we've talked about this so many times. Growing up in the 80s, I was watching crazy ass ish. Renting the movies, going to the movies. There is no reason I was at why was I at Basic Instinct at 10 years old? Why was I, watching Revenge of the Nerds? Why was I watching Porky's? These are all questions that no one knows, but I made it out okay. And I'm not some sex crazed person. As long as you guys know, you never know what happens after dark. But we've all made it out okay. And sometimes there's a world in which we can treat our kids a little bit with a little bit maturity. All right, we got to get into all the stories. There's so much to talk about. First story today is Matthew Perry. Now, this is something that I think we all kind of had an idea that this was going to be happening, but essentially, well, the headline, according to there it's all over the news, but on Deadline is an industry. It's an industry online website, it talks about all the new deals and the new production deals and who's signing on to who and what agents are working with who and what movies are being greenlit, etc. But they will cover celebrity actor gossip like this. They won't usually talk about like, you know, Shep and who he's hooking up with, but they will talk about big stuff like this. So according to Deadline, and everywhere else, 5 people are charged, including 2 doctors in Matthew Perry's overdose death. And how sad. After reading, or I should say listening to his memoir, I don't know if you guys remember when I went to BravoCon last year, my girlfriend Jamie and I drove to Vegas and we started listening to Matthew Perry's memoir and then finished it when we got back. And I was so I was so messed up from listening to that memoir because his story is so tragic. Like it's beyond tragic, right? And his addiction really went from one to another to another to another. It just kept transferring, right? From pills to alcohol to smoking to this and that. And everyone thought he was sober. And really, at the end of the day, what killed him was ketamine. And so, am I saying that right? Ketamine? Ketamine. So, ketamine, from what I know, and I really don't know a lot about this stuff, but ketamine is essentially a it's a s- it's like a hallucinogenic a little bit. And if you remember watching Real Housewives of Miami, Adriana did like a ketamine therapy where she went into a doctor's office or whoever's office, I don't even know where she was, and like put on a mask and earphones, and she was had ketamine in her system, and she was like seeing her family when she was a kid and crying and going through all these things. It will definitely mess with your brain in some capacity, but a lot of people feel like these are healing um medicines. And clearly, it actually was ultimately responsible for his death. So let's go through some of the details. 5 defendants have been charged in connection with ketamine-related death of actor Matthew Perry. The 5 include the live-in assistant, 2 doctors, and a woman known as the ketamine queen. Estrada, who is the U.S. attorney, says the defendants are part of a broad underground criminal network that supplied ketamine to Perry and others. He says the suspects took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves. So 2 of the 5 have been arrested. The ketamine queen, her name is Jasvine Sanga. She's 41. She lives in North Hollywood. And Dr. Salvador Plasencia, who is 42, and he is in Santa Monica. Both are expected to be arraigned later today at U.S. District Court in downtown LA. The others are Eric Fleming, who is 54, who pled guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine and 1 count of distribution of ketamine resulting in death, admitting that he actually distributed the ketamine that killed Matthew Perry, according to prosecutors. Also charged are Kenneth Iwamasa, 59 years old, of Toluca Lake, who was his live-in assistant, who allegedly conspired with Sanga, Fleming, and Plasencia to illegally obtain ketamine and distribute it to Perry, and Dr. Mark Chavez, this is now a new one, a physician who has agreed to plead guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine, admitting to selling ketamine to Plasencia. Okay. So essentially, from what I'm seeing, and he passed away. His autopsy report cited drowning, coronary artery disease, and the effects of buprenorphine, which is a drug used to treat opioid use disorder, and the acute effects of ketamine. So all of this did contribute to his death. I don't believe it was just one. I think it was probably a mix of a lot. However, he received several injections of ketamine on the day he died from his live-in personal assistant, this Kenneth guy. Now, without really knowing like exactly how this works, I believe from what we've read that the Dr. Chavez was like the main doctor who basically got all of this ketamine and was giving it to another doctor, Dr. Placencia here in Santa Monica. This is just my take from these articles. I don't know if this is exactly how this kind of ring went. But someone got this large amount of ketamine, transferred it over to Dr. Placencia, who works with this ketamine queen. I have no idea who she is and how people found her. In fact, let's did people look her up? Because ketamine queen of Los Angeles. I mean, now it's just news stories that have come up, but I'm wondering, did she have a website where people excited to work with the ketamine queen? I have no idea. But the point is that this San Diego doctor was transferring a lot of this ketamine to this doctor here who was prescribing it through the ketamine queen to Matthew Perry. Eric Fleming, who is, it sounds like maybe a friend. I think he was a friend of yeah, I think he was a friend of Matthew Perry. I don't know a lot about it, but he was giving it to he was sending it or delivering it to Matthew Perry's house from the ketamine queen through these doctors. And then this part I feel actually very, very bad for is that the live-in assistant, this guy Kenneth, and I don't know a thing about this assistant, but I do know one thing about assistants. When you're an assistant, you get put in extraordinarily horrible situations, right? You get asked to do things that a lot of people really don't want to do, but don't really have the ability to say, no, I won't do that because their job is on the line. And I think so many assistants get really just treated. And it's funny actually talking about this, and I'll bring this up because this came up on Dumois' episode today. But this guy, Kenneth, essentially actually injected the ketamine. And it's actually not the craziest thing you've heard that assistants have done. Because on Dumois today, I was just listening to the podcast, and she has a whole list of things that anonymously Hollywood assistants have written in of things they've done for their bosses. And this is before the story came out. So this was just like a separate story. We always hear that Shane injects Jeff with testosterone, right? We hear, oh, that's so funny. Danny just said the exact same on Dumois this week. She has assistants submit the craziest things. Yes, shooting steroids in their ass, shooting testosterone. One person had to help her find birth control or a plan B because she knew she was going to get laid that night and didn't have birth control. One of them had to Uber to San Diego from Los Angeles to charge the actor's Tesla and drive it back. One person had to get them a fake ID. One person had to pretend to be them for the IRS. One person had to get, during COVID restrictions, get one of the actors to Europe, crazy, crazy stuff. So that being said, it feels like this is just in the realm of what Hollywood assistants are put through, and they don't have. Listen, if you're getting paid a severe amount of money and you're being told by your boss, Matthew Perry from Friends, a multi-millionaire, that this medication helps him stay healthy, he doesn't know maybe he doesn't know specifically what he was giving him. He definitely did not think he was killing him, but because he injected the medicine, you're technically responsible for a portion of the death. It's actually the worst part about it is that assistant, I feel. I don't know the story so much, but I just know that everyone else was very aware of what they were doing. And obviously, Matthew Perry was an addict through and through. And without knowing specifically what ketamine makes you feel, it did give him some sort of, whether it was a drug-induced feeling, a high, a hallucinogen, whatever. And I know a lot of people, when they cannot have alcohol, for example, and they're still in their addiction, maybe they will try something else to make them feel something, maybe marijuana, maybe this and that. And so this seems like he was just trying to find anything that just made him feel something a little bit different. And unfortunately, just like the Michael Jackson story, a doctor overdosed him and gave him too much, and he forced to take too much. I don't know. I don't really know the story, obviously. Unfortunately, he was severely, severely addicted through his life. He had a very, very traumatic life of addiction. If you hear the stories, you'll die. From his book, it's crazy. It's like crazy the lengths he went to and what he was under for a good portion of his career and his life. And he died of it ultimately. Um, very sad, very sad. And I'm glad that they're finally catching people in this sting because they took advantage of the fact that he liked the feeling of being in this ketamine high and he kept buying it. And it's probably not cheap. I would imagine to go into ketamine therapy and like to take a huge amount and get it delivered to you through doctors and stuff. He's probably paying thousands and thousands of dollars a day. And if that is the case, like these doctors should be charged. Doctors. I mean, I don't even know. It's a responsibility thing. So, anyway, really crazy story. Obviously, the DOJ, Department of Justice, is involved. People are going to get arrested. And yes, you're right, Andrew. Andrew said earlier, I can't wait for the new Netflix documentary called Ketamine Queen. And it's with all K's. Ketamine Queen with a K and starring Kim Kardashian with two K's. So it's really shitty. Josh says we locked it up when I worked at the vet. So wait, ketamine is for real horse tranquilizer. That's not just like a thing that people say. Ketamine for real is a horse tranquilizer. Like I'm shocked. Really crazy story and sad. And I'm glad that some people will be held responsible or accountable for his death, but just really, really sad. Just sad all around, right? Sad for his family and his friends. Okay. Um, in the police press conference, Suki says they said it cost the doctor $12 and they were charging Matthew Perry $2,000. It charged $12 a vial to the doctor and they were charging him $2,000. And they called Matthew Perry a moron in their text messages. So sad. He was totally taken advantage of. Like, what a way to go. Just fucking awful. Awful. Okay, let's get into our next story. We're gonna go from like serious to non-serious and then back to serious and then non-serious because there's so many random stories. Let's talk a little bit about Love Island. Love Island had its reunion yesterday. And there's a lot of stuff that's been going on online. All I know is that they were filming yesterday because Ariana was she's in New York City for Chicago. And she was on Watch What Happens Live. Yesterday was Wednesday. So she was on Tuesday night. Wednesday, yesterday, they taped the reunion. It's supposed to air on the 19th, which is August 18th, 17th. I think it's Monday night. Is that weird that it's going to be on a Monday night? But I think that's when the reunion will air. But they taped all day yesterday. We saw looks of all the women and the men that showed up, and let's go through it together. I'll pull up a Instagram account that was posting all of them yesterday. I think forget whose Instagram account I was on, but maybe it was it Glorified Gossip Girly? She was posting everyone. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the one. Okay. So let's look at them together just for fun and judge them because that's our job when it comes to fashion and looks. So this is Hannah on the left. Hannah, to me, wasn't that her name Hannah? She was one of the original girls that got sent home. She was the one that was when she was making out with Kendall, she left Kendall with the white mouth. Do you remember that amazing scene? So she's over there on the left, and then we have some other girls, some of these Casa girls. I don't really remember everyone's name, and then Leah. I don't love Leah's look. I think Leah's so beautiful. Maybe it's the way she's standing in this picture. I don't know. It's not doing it for me. The dress itself is okay. I think Leah's gorgeous, but I'm not a huge it doesn't like step out at me. And Serena looks nice. And what I think when I think of Serena in this picture, I think, very demure, very cutesy. just very, very nice, very cutesy, very demure. Here's Leah again. The dress is giving like 1995 Betsy Johnson to me. Are you not feeling that with me? Like, it's not doing it for me. Um, I think Janae is one of the prettiest women on that show. I think she's so pretty. I mean, look at her face, her smile. She's gorgeous and she has a banging body, but not loving the dress personally. I think it's a little bit like trash baggy look, like this. It looks like a glad bag tied up a little bit personally, but I love Janae. There's Serena Demure. That's all I can think about her. She looks very sweet. She cut her hair. She looks very proper. She definitely doesn't look like you know, wild and out. She looks very sweet. Her man on the other end, Cordell. We have a conversation here about the men. Cordell, what in the world is Cordell wearing? If is this a joke? Number one, you're on TV, okay? This is not just like a random Saturday night out. Number two, what is happening? Like, I would never allow the fact that wardrobe allowed him to wear this with the chain and the long shorts, the jorts, and this ugly ass sweater vest. I don't even know I mean, everything about it is ridiculous. He looks horrible. And compared to Serena, his girl, like they're going to be together. She looks like she's dressed to go to a beautiful like event or wedding. And he looks like, I don't know, like he's going to, yeah, the circus. I mean, it's ridiculous. Miguel, what a handsome man. Like he's fine, right? He's dressed perfectly. He's dressed confidently. He's dressed very um, he's profesh. Like he looks good. Okay. I can't wait to hear what happened between Nicole and Kendall. Nicole and Kendall were the story, of course, that Nicole, is Kendall is the one that had that video leaked of him right when he got out of the villa, of him spreading his you know what in the back, like this whole crazy video. We all thought, oh gosh, how are Nicole and Kendall going to get through this? Well, I don't know if it was the video. We don't know if something else happened, but Nicole and Kendall are clearly not together. Apparently, a lot of people had reported that yesterday they didn't show up together. They weren't sitting next to each other. They were definitely not together. So they are absolutely broken up. There's no question. But I mean, honestly, she looks pretty, but she looks just like she looked on Love Island. Like she still thinks she's in the villa. It's a little too showy. For me, I'm also 43. Kendall looks very handsome. He looks very good to me in this picture. Kenny, also so cute, so sweet. What a likable guy. Kenny and Janae are my favorite, I think now. Rob. Okay, we got to talk about Rob. I love, hold on, I know there's a single picture of Rob somewhere. I love Rob. Okay. Rob to me is like a sexy snake wrangler. He is hot. He's got a good body. He's fun. He's got a great social media presence. I can't stand behind this look. This is a look I don't want to see. I don't want to see it in bed. I don't want to see it out of bed. Like, I'm just not into it. A lot of people like him in this. Now, Aaron, on the other hand, always with a stupid looking face, right? Ooh. Aaron is our British royal. He's come from England and he looks very awkward and pinstripey. Now, apparently, he and Kaylor, this is Daniela. She looks sweet. She looks fine. He and Kaylor's in this picture here on the right, the blonde, they had some drama. Liv looks stunning to me, but they had some drama and allegedly it was 10 p.m. Someone posted on some sort of social media somewhere that they could not start filming because of the drama between Aaron and Kaylor. All day long, they were waiting to start filming. I don't know if that's a rumor or not. I mean, listen, Kaylor's trying to do Ariana revenge dress, and it's just not working, in my opinion. Now, we need to talk about Andrea. Okay. Without knowing the show, you remember that Andrea was with Rob. She kind of stole him away from Leah and she got sent home and she was hysterical and Rob did not follow her. And then she came home and continued to do a series of the most unreal, cringe Instagram videos all about Rob. Like she was ridiculous. I don't know what happened here, but everything's wrong. The dress is wrong. It doesn't fit her. It looks like she didn't get her makeup done. Like this should be a professional makeup day. Something looks wrong. It's just not working. Okay. Let's hope that the Love Island reunion is everything we want and more. We do know that Love Island is an amazing editing team. Like whatever they do, their editors are top notch. They kick ass. So hopefully they're able to give us a great reunion. I'm sure Ariana did wonderful. Did you guys see that video of Ariana singing, by the way? There was like a Broadway. Let me pull it up and you guys can see this. There was a Broadway. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. So it was a Broadway Cares, something like that, where it's a Broadway show TV. They perform Chicago musicals nowadays. It's her and Robin Herder. I'm going to share the screen right now, and you guys can listen to a little bit of it just to see. This girl can actually sing.
Nothing stays. In 50 years or so,
It's good.
gonna change.
I mean, in my opinion.
God always has.
All right. So there you go. Good for them. Good for Ariana, killing it. Now, can't wait to see what happens on the Love Island reunion. I hope it's everything that we want and more. Let's move on to a little Real Housewives of New Jersey news. But before we do that, I do want to shout out our sponsor, proud sponsor of Daily Dose of Donna. And that is, speaking of Friends and Matthew Perry, it's our lovely Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston's hair care products, LOLAVIE. So LOLAVIE is a line of hair care products that Jennifer Aniston formulated with incredible peptides that are derived from chia seeds. And the technology constructs a new protective cuticle around the hair where damage begins to keep it healthy and looking its best. So think of it as all around defense against signs of aging and damage on the hair. And here's a treat for you, my awesome listeners. For a limited time, you get an exclusive 15% off your entire order at LOLAVIE.com. Just use code Dana15. That's DANA 15 at checkout. I mean, if you're taking hair care advice, why listen to anyone besides the women who give us the Rachel? So check out all LOLAVIE products at LOLAVIE.com. Use code Dana15 and make sure when they ask you where you heard about them, please support our show and tell them we sent you. Your hair will thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next story. Real Housewives. Did you guys hear this? That there's something going on. Well, do you love how I'm saying there's something going on behind the scenes at Real Housewives in New Jersey? I mean, that's the understatement of the world. So obviously, as we know, there's room 1, room 2. That's team 1 and team 2, essentially. It's the Teresa and Jen and Jackie of the world versus the Marge and Melissa and whatever, Danielle and Rachel. And I don't know. I can't keep them all straight. It's like too much. I'm so over this crew. But obviously, as what we know is that Louis had thrown Margaret's son under the bus during the episode last week by saying, in the finale, I hope her son suffers, right? And then he apologized and everything. But then there was this article that came out that apparently under one of Louis's posts on Instagram, someone commented something about how lame he was, or just like a really kind of troll mean comment to Louis. And Louis responded, yeah, imagine using your son for a storyline. Pathetic, about Margaret. So he's still going. If I see one more video of Jen Aiden shopping in Italy, Jen and Teresa are living it up in Italy, Greece. I don't even know where they are. They're spending thousands and thousands of dollars per hour. There's a video that I just saw on TikTok this morning of someone screen recorded Jen Aiden's video or story of her in I think it was Louis Vuitton, shopping with her daughter, Olivia. I think her name is Olivia, and she's like 12, 13. She's really young. And she spent like $1,500 on a purse for her. And then she was like, and I bought this and I bought that. And I love yellow and I love all my outfits. And I have so many purses. And it makes me want to vomit. Read the room. Read the damn room, Jen. Shut up with your money. Sorry. No one annoys me more than people that are so blatantly loud about their wealth. It's the worst quality in a human being. Number one, in this day and age, in this economy, but in this day and age, when we have to kind of like, you should keep everything under wraps because there's so many people out there that are like, they're criminals, right? They want to rob you. They know where you live. Like, why are you shouting it out in the world how much money you have? Then, on top of all of that, you're so hated right now in this Bravo universe. Like, I really don't know how many, if we look at the percentage of Teresa stands and Jen stands versus the other side stands, I would imagine it's getting smaller and smaller by the day. But Teresa at least like has a redeeming quality from her past. We've grown up with her, like we know her daughters, she went to prison, like all of that. What does Jen have? Like Jen is just nasty, in my opinion. IMO. Jen is just hard to like. She's hard to like, and they say wealth whispers, and Jen is screaming, getting a megaphone, hiring an airplane. Jen does not have any ability to like just be, she needs to learn how to be a little more demure, a little more cutesy, you know? It's really tough. Now, meanwhile, Dolores held her baseball game, which of course was not being filmed for this season of Real Housewives of New Jersey, at the softball game, her charitable game that we've seen now for a few seasons. Who was there with her? It was the other side, of course, was Jem Fessler, Rachel Fuda, Danielle, Margaret. I didn't see Melissa Gorga there. She may have been traveling. But I don't know if I'm going to be stuck with anyone, it's definitely going to be that crew, right? Just Teresa and they're trying so hard, like from what I'm seeing, Teresa and Jen are trying so hard to be like, we're loving life. We don't care about the show. Look how much money I have. Look how much happy I have. Love, love, love. And it's so obvious when people are acting that way, when they're under attack, it's so obvious that it's just like their only way to kind of snap back at any of the haters, right? Anyway, I'm so over that. Like, I kind of never really want to talk about them again. I'm hoping that the next time I talk about Teresa and Louis, it says that they're no longer going to be on Real Housewives. Okay, next story. Ugh. Did you guys hear yesterday I talked about Kim Kardashian? Kim Kardashian is actually now behind a new TV show. She and Lala Anthony and Kenya Barris, who's behind Blackish, and I think he's done a few of those shows. They are all kind of teaming up to create a new series through 20th Century Fox and Hulu. And this all makes so much sense to me because Kim Kardashian is Hulu's biggest star, I would imagine. That obviously they have the reality show. So the reason that they're doing the reality show probably is like in congruence with maybe some other development deals. And this is the way it works usually with these networks and studios. They kind of set you up so that they like kind of, I don't want to say own you, but they kind of own you so that you don't go off and so that Kim doesn't go to Sony and CBS and sell a show there. So she has a first look deal with 20th TV, and she is doing the series already in works at Hulu. It's called All's Fair. It's a drama series. And no, sorry. A different series. She already did All's Fair, which was she produced a drama series for Hulu, All's Fair, and she has driven 2 movie and 1 scripted TV series packages in bidding wars. But now she signed this first look deal, and it will span drama, comedy, and limited series. Like Kim Kardashian's going to actually become like a huge producer. Watch. For her first project under the multi-year pact, Group Chat, that's what it's called. She's teamed with Lala Anthony. And Lala will headline the comedy created by Kenya Barris from Blackish. It's going to be based on Lala's bestseller, The Love Playbook, Rules for Love, Sex, and Happiness. Group Chat, which is in development for Hulu, is a co-production between 20th TV and BET Studios. So essentially, when you're Kim Kardashian, you can just like produce anything. I mean, good for her, right? Good for her. She's definitely going to continue to take over the world. It's pretty crazy, the journey of Kim Kardashian. We have to get into this crazy story just a little bit. It's actually such a sad story, and I hate even talking about it, but it is all over the news, and you guys seem to be very, very invested. And we talked yesterday a lot about like financial infidelity. This story about Brandon Miller and his wife. So Brandon Miller was the developer and the husband of the socialite Candace Miller. He was the Hamptons good-looking, wealthy 42-year-old dad and husband, and he committed suicide, or he attempted to, and he didn't actually he wasn't actually successful, and he went to the hospital. I don't know the story about who found him, etc. And he survived for a few more days, where his wife and daughters were able to come home and see him in the hospital, say their final goodbyes. And now it's developing as he passed away. A lot of people, the sleuths of the world, have started to finally kind of figure out like what really happened. And people started to realize that there was a lot of financial debt. And it's a pretty crazy story. But I'm sure it's something that's happening way more than we know about, like in people's lives around us all the time, including probably some housewives, I'm sure of. He did leave a suicide note, which is really sad, but it reveals why he did, in fact, take his own life. The husband of a New York City influencer explained his reasons for unaliving himself in the suicide note. He explained that a last-minute make-or-break business deal had fallen through, leaving him feeling like he had no way out. The New York Times also reports that Miller, he detailed 2 life insurance policies that could be used to pay off his creditors. Basically, from the story, he had some really, really crazy, crazy debt amount to, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more. And he wasn't able to pay it off. And I guess what happened was he had sent his girls, his daughters and his wife onto this vacation. And there was something that was done while they were gone, so that he was going to hopefully be able to find a way out of this debt. Like there was a deal that was going to happen that was, supposedly going to be the thing that was going to save him. At the time of his death, he is estimated to owe around $17 million. He was being sued for at least $221,000 for various non-payments, and had taken out a series of loans for millions of dollars against his estate, his home. One of the people that had sued him was Interior Marketing Group. They sued him in April, claiming he failed to pay a balance of $102,000 for luxury furnishing services. The same lawsuit also accuses him of refusing to return over $64,000 of furniture from their apartment in Manhattan. Another lawsuit filed in May claims he failed to pay his balances for services on his boat, which he had since October 2020. They said that he never once acknowledged a notice informing he owed nearly $40,000, and that debt eventually grew. So clearly he was very much in debt. I mean, the fact that he owed over $17 million, I imagine that's partially because of the home that he had. Sorry. I don't know what. Okay, sorry. I saw something in a comment. Apparently he had been starting to cry openly in business meetings as he struggled to cope with increasing financial pressure, which is so sad. Like, he very much was struggling and didn't tell his wife, my guess, because he sent his wife off to Europe. And while she was in Europe, and I imagine had no idea, because why would she say yes to go to Europe with her daughters if she knew that her husband had no money? And apparently there's a story that when she got to this hotel in Europe, this like fancy, beautiful hotel that he set her up at, the credit card declined and they had to be like helped out through a travel agent because she probably had no idea. She thought it was like probably just like a mix up at the credit card company. There's no way this is going to decline. So someone just vouched the money because everyone just assumed he had all this money in the world. So the story is, by the time his wife went to Europe, Brandon Miller was scrambling to arrange a $1,000 loan, which is a minuscule amount compared to the sums he was used to dealing with. He encouraged his wife to take the vacation by reassuring her everything had been paid for. At the vacation, her credit card was declined. The travel agent was forced to vouch for them. And meanwhile, he was at home attempting to pull off a deal which could reverse their fortunes, but sadly, it fell through. And that's when he decided to end his life. He has since listed their watermill home for 15.5. She has since listed their watermill home for 15.5 million. She's said to be relocating to Miami with her children ahead of the new school year. This story, for some reason, really saddens me. It really saddens me. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but there's something about it that is just so indicative of our world, right? Like, it's so indicative of our world right now, which is the need to show, I mean, Jen Aiden, hello, money, 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 wealth, showy, buy, expensive, luxury, keeping up with the Joneses, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the end of the day, how many people are hiding the fact that they don't have anything? So much so that you have to actually end your life. And he did this, from what I'm guessing, talking about these 2 life insurance policies, hoping that these life insurance policies would actually be the one thing that could help them get out of debt, because he knew he couldn't. How sad is that? How sad is that? Like, I don't, there is nothing more sad than a person that feels they need to end their life to save their family, like in some weird way. Either that or, he just didn't know what else to do. Very sad, and very just so indicative of like 2024 in some weird way, like American culture. But that story is really, really a one to watch, because I feel like so many people are living that same lifestyle and don't even know it. And I think there's going to be a documentary about this one too. But okay, so I hope for her sake and her daughter's sakes, that they'll be okay. I thought the same thing. Susan says, I thought life insurance policies do not cover with suicide, but I may be wrong. I thought of that too. I was like, what? Like, isn't there some sort of like, maybe he had a policy that did cover for that and he made sure of it. I have no idea. Either way, now, now she's left with all of the debt. And I imagine there's going to be something that's going to be okay, but it's just very, very sad and hard to imagine. Okay, our final story before we wrap up today is just a little bit more of an update on this Blake Lively drama. You guys, this is the drama that will not stop. And I don't really know what else to say about it, because what I'm realizing after listening to so many podcasts about it, after watching so many TikToks, after really falling into the hole about it, the scroll hole, I think it's just she said versus he said. And the truth is, like, I don't know if we can say that Blake Lively is the reason for all the drama. I don't know if we can say that Justin Baldoni is the reason for all the drama. My guess is that Justin Baldoni's directing and producing style did not vibe with Blake Lively's style. There was something about them that didn't vibe. They didn't get each other's energy. Sometimes you just don't like someone. And so I think that they just got they just didn't get along, and it's possible that that was all it was. Now, it doesn't help that Blake Lively continues to have these crazy interview clips that keep coming out. Yesterday, we watched the clip of her talking about talking so dismissively in 2016 over the uh with that interviewer who just said congrats on your bump. By the way, lots of discourse about that. This interviewer, I forget her name, Kirsta, I talked about her yesterday. All she said at the beginning of this interview, all she said was, congrats on your little bump. This was 3 months before Blake was due. She was due in September and this was June or July. She was clearly pregnant. I don't know why that's so offensive. She had announced her pregnancy. Everyone knew she was pregnant. Why is that so wrong? Why are people so offended by that? If I'm pregnant and you don't say congrats, that's weirder. Like if or you don't like mention it. Like unless she specifically told her publicist, tell everyone not to talk about the fact that I'm pregnant. Maybe that was the case. I don't know. I don't see how it's offensive. I really don't. If she wasn't pregnant and she said, "Oh, you're looking a little chubby." Okay, fine. She just said like she was trying to like break the ice. In my opinion, it's something that you do when you see someone. Oh, congrats on the baby. Maybe it's the fact that she said little bump. Maybe that was offensive, the way that she said bump or little. I don't know. I still she also doesn't sound like she's an American. I think she's a foreign reporter. Like, so sometimes a lot of this stuff gets lost in translation. I don't know. It really was an uncomfortable interview. But then today or yesterday, the other day, I don't even know, another clip keeps coming out. And this is another interview that she just did recently. This is during her press tour with for It Ends With Us. And this is a moment where a question gets asked of her when she's sitting with one of her co-stars, Brendan. And the question asks something along the lines of, how would you feel? Here, let's watch. I wonder if this is the clip. Hold on. I want to show it to you, but I don't want. No, that's not it. I want to find the right clip, and I don't know if I can while I'm on the show, but at some point you can find it if you look it up. But basically, this one reporter asks her, now that you're in this movie, this serious movie, people are going to want to talk to you about their serious problems. What would you say? I don't think she should be the person that people go to for serious problems ever. Like, she's an actress. Just because she played a character that dealt with domestic violence and she stars in the movie does not mean that she needs to be talking about this. And you should never go to Blake and like trauma dump on your problems. But that being said, I think the best response should have been something along the lines of, I would tell them that unfortunately I'm not an expert in this. And as much as my heart is with them for what they've gone through, they should speak to someone who really understands this and not me. That's how you say it, like something along those moments. Meanwhile, she's sitting on the couch so dismissively, her legs are up, like she kind of doesn't care. And her answer to it is like, what? Do you want me to give them, my social security number? Should we location share? And all of a sudden, Sheena's like, yes. Shishu stands up and she's like, location share? Blake, you want a location share with me? Because Sheena has to be like, she's there in some capacity always. It's a really, really uncomfortable interview. And then even her co-star rolls his eyes. I just think she keeps saying the wrong things. And if I were her, just shut up. Stop talking. Just be quiet. Right? It's just so weird. It's like she doesn't want to talk about the crux of the movie. And in Justin Baldoni, he wrote this email to the entire crew before the movie started production. And it's a very long email, but it says something along the lines of, I believe that this is, a work of art. The fact that we're all working together, we all have a skill set. Like, I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm so proud of every single person on this movie already. And let's not forget what this movie is about. This movie is bringing Lily Bloom's story to life. It's bringing the fact that you don't have to stay if you're in an abusive situation. It's hopefully saving lives, and it's hopefully helping many other people, live a healthier and happier lifestyle after that. Like, he started this movie with that intention. So it's not, oh, that's right. Danny did tag me on Twitter earlier. Maybe I can find the clip so we can watch it together. But it feels very dismissive. Yes, here we are on Twitter. Let's watch it together really fast. This one little moment. It's just so uncomfortable. Okay, you guys ready? It's so small on this clip, but let's watch it.
Most of us, if we're lucky enough to run into a celebrity in public, we only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys. But for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you, and then we could I'm just curious about
social security number.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm
Yeah.
like, are we talking logistics? Are we talking emotionally?
Most of us, if we're lucky enough to run into a celebrity.
Ouch. Like, that was an ouch moment. Kelly, my girl Kelly, I saw your text this morning. Thank you so much for the super sticker. You're the best. I have to listen to it. I'll listen to your text in just a bit. I was getting ready for the show. You guys, I'm sorry. Like, we can't keep making excuses when someone is showing us right in front of us that they're being dismissive and rude. And I'm not saying that she is as a person, but I was watching Meredith Lynch's Instagram last night, and she said some of you guys were not on the Gossip Girl fan boards, and it shows. Apparently, this is not an unnatural. I'm sorry, my dress is so loose here. Like, I'm trying to tie it in the back because I feel like my boobs keep falling out. This is not the first time that there has been bad press about Blake Lively as a human being. If you really do the research during Gossip Girl, she had this reputation. And I'm not saying that the thing between her and Justin Baldoni is her fault. I'm just saying that I don't think we should look at it's not one or the other. I think in this case, they're both definitely at fault in some way. And I don't know if it's at fault, but they just didn't get along. There's also this rumor that Justin Baldoni called out her weight. Now, from what I saw, there was a scene where I guess she had to lay on top of him or he had to hold her in some capacity. And he mentioned something about how much she weighs because he didn't want to injure himself or something. I don't think he said, oh, Blake Lively's fat. But it's still inappropriate and uncomfortable. So all of this stuff is tough. But I will say, just having worked on, so many productions through my life and TV shows and been on TV and film sets over the course of many years, I can tell you one thing, and that is the chances that everyone on the set all love each other, work so well together, and care so much about each other and respect each other. The chances are so slim when you bring new people together. It's very rare, and it happens, and then it's magic when it does happen. When you see these like White Lotus is an example that comes off to me. Remember on White Lotus, there was like all this behind the scenes amazingness of Jennifer Coolidge and the creator and all of the Megan Fahey and all of the cast and crew, like doing karaoke and having fun together. I just don't think that happens that often. I think that's rare, that everyone loves everyone. But this was clearly a case where it didn't work in that way. What's shocking to me is how clear and obvious Blake and team have made it. It didn't have to be a story. Justin has not said one bad thing or done one bad thing. So why did this become the story? Why did Blake unfollow him on Instagram? Why did Blake specifically say, I will not do any press with him? Why did everyone else do this? Like, they made this the story. And unfortunately, now it's overshadowing the movie. It's probably helping the movie, I would imagine. I think more people are probably seeing it because of it. Billy, you're saying the dress is so cute, especially if it has pockets. You guys want to see? Let me do a stand up. Hold on. It's one of these. It's a pants situation. I feel like such a hippie. And It has pockets. All right, there you go. I hope you guys are having an amazing Thursday. I don't know, call your moms. Say hi, give them love. I am going to give Lance all of your love. Thank you so much for being supportive this week and every other week. I released a members only here on YouTube for those of you that are members. You guys got to hang out with me. We talked about Jeff Lewis. We talked about so much other stuff in that episode. And then I will be releasing a Patreon in the next couple days. I hope you guys are doing great. I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Bye. Love, love, love.